It looks like Marvel is going to be taking a pretty big page from Marvel Comics when it comes to Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars, particularly when it comes to the Fantastic Four, according to this new Marvel report. And it looks like the Council of Reeds could indeed show up in Doomsday and or Secret Wars, something that I think a lot of fans would really love to see, especially if those variants of Reed Richards who pop up are played by previous actors. And to top it all off, we have a little bit of info about the continuity of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, the confirmation for Season 3, and how it builds into Spider-Man Brand New Day. So a lot of exciting things to break down. Let's jump into the Fantastic Four. A new report from the insider Alex Perez at thecosmiccircus.com has a lot of people's attention right now, and a lot of people are really starting to put together how Avengers Doomsday ends. And I personally think that there is a different kind of twist to this new report than a lot of people think. Alex Perez is reporting that the Fantastic Four will not split up, where half the team works with one group and the other half with another until the end of Doomsday. And he also teased the possibility that the Council of Reeds will be shown for the first time in the MCU. So he's stating the Fantastic Four team will split up at the end of Avengers Doomsday, but the way this question was asked to him, because this comes from a Q&A from his Discord, they asked, will we see the Fantastic Four split up? And then they kind of said, not as in the team disbanding, but with half of the team working with one group while the other half is with another. Alex Perez simply replied with, not until the end. But when they split up, I actually don't think they're going to split up because one team is working with another, although that might be the case at first. But I ultimately think they're going to split up because Doom wins, and he takes a collection of heroes that could be around him to Battleworld. So sure, the Fantastic Four might split up into different groups at the end of the movie. Reed and perhaps Ben go one way with certain Avengers or X-Men, while Sue and Johnny go another way, all in the attempt to find their son, Franklin Richards. Now you might ask why they would split up as a family, as a team, but as parents of Franklin, who we know Dr. Doom is going to take, that is their number one priority, getting him back, and they're probably willing to do anything necessary to make that happen. Ultimately, I think this leads to Sue being at the side of Dr. Doom, something we saw in the leaked photos, the leaked concept art for Avengers Secret Wars, where Doom is there on his throne. To his left, or to our left, is Doctor Strange, and to the right is Sue and Franklin. So we know, thanks to this leaked concept art, Marvel Studios is planning Battleworld, essentially. We are going to get God Emperor Doom, and it looks like on his side is going to be Sue and Franklin. Now, I have a theory about how Doomsday is going to end. I think basically whoever is left alive in the multiverse, they're going to be the ones who are going to end up on Battleworld. Doom creates Battleworld from the remnants of the very few universes that are still alive as the multiverse collapses and basically comes to an end. Doom takes everything at the end and makes one world. So those characters who are alive in the universes before the entire thing collapses, they'll end up on Battleworld. And I think this is where we get the separation between specifically Reed Richards and Sue Storm. I think Reed is going to go with a team to the TVA. I think there's going to be a team that is kind of going to tackle the technology and the multiversal travel aspect of it. And obviously Reed's going to be one of those people because he clearly figures out multiversal travel to end up in the 616 universe from his 838 universe. So I think a team ends up going to the TVA to try and save Loki and try to stop Dr. Doom, and also maybe try to figure out the science of it all. Can they actually save the multiverse? And I'm sure there's going to be more than just two teams, but for the sake of the Fantastic Four, Reed will go to the TVA, and Sue and maybe the rest of the team go with some of the X-Men and Avengers to physically fight. And they'll most likely remain in a universe. It might not be the Earth 616 universe, it could be the X-Men universe or the 828 universe for all we know, but basically I think they end up on an Earth in a universe, while Reed does not end up in any universe. He ends up outside of the multiverse, either at the TVA or what I think is going to happen, the Void. I think at the end, Dr. Doom is going to win. He's going to form his own solo universe, no more multiverse, and everything else is basically going to get destroyed. So Loki and others who know about the Void, they go there outside of space and time because Doom will probably take over the TVA as well. So they go to the Void to hide, to basically be able to survive, to come up with a plan to eventually win in Secret Wars. This is where I think they split up. And in the comics, they actually split up as well, in a very sad way as the multiverse is coming to an end. So we kind of have a blueprint of how this could happen. And then the Council of Reeds show up. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but first, thank you to Factor for sponsoring this video. I have really been trying to focus on my health recently, and Factor has been a big help. I've been using Factor for a while now, and not only do they have incredible tasting food, but they have so many different options to help you with your health and lifestyle goals. And now Factor has an even wider selection of weekly meal options, including premium seafood choices like salmon and shrimp at no extra cost. And now they even have Asian-inspired meals with bold flavors from China, Thailand, and more. Instead of spending hours a week meal prepping, Factor arrives fresh and ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. And if you're busy like me, Factor is a game changer. They take the time out of prepping and make it easy to eat healthy. With 45 weekly menu options, you can pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. Choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. All tasting great. I personally love Italian, and their different pasta options are fantastic. Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. They even have wellness shots as well. This summer, make eating healthy easy with Factor. To get started, go to factormeals.com/CosmicWonder50 off and use code CosmicWonder50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code CosmicWonder50 off at factormeals.com/CosmicWonder50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. So in the comics, Reed, well, there's two different Reeds. There's the Maker from the Ultimates universe and our main Reed. They build what's called a life raft. They each have one, and basically that's how they are able to survive the end of the multiverse. Now, Reed, the main one, has his entire family, the whole Fantastic Four and his two kids, Franklin and Valeria. Unfortunately, when they're kind of breaking out of the multiverse as everything is falling apart, part of the life raft gets broken and taken off, and it's unfortunately the part that has the entire Fantastic Four with the exception of Reed in it, and he tries to save them, but he can't. They're gone. So then he eventually shows up on Battleworld, which God Emperor Doom created, and he goes and he finds out that Doom is married to Sue, and their two children are his two children, Franklin and Valeria. Doom basically takes his entire life. And that is essentially what I think is going to happen in the movie. And that's how they get so-called split up. I basically think that the Void is essentially going to be a life raft. A place where Loki basically says, we can survive anything Doom does in the Void. We'll just have to figure out a way to get out, especially if the TVA is actually gone and none of the devices work. But again, they have Reed, the smartest man alive. They have Loki, who is essentially the god of stories right now. They can figure it out. And it ultimately will lead to a comeback. It's basically survive now so we can try to win later. And this is actually how I think the Council of Reeds comes into play. We already know that there have been other Fantastic Four members in the Void. We learned that in Deadpool and Wolverine, with Chris Evans returning once again to play Johnny Storm for a brief moment before his skin got zapped off. But he did mention Reed. He mentioned his Reed even knew about what the Void was. So in the Void, I think there are going to be other Reed Richards. And I think these other variants of Reed are all going to come together to figure out how to get out of the Void and to figure out how to defeat Dr. Doom, and also how to figure out to restore the multiverse, or at least restore something, because I don't think Marvel's going to jump back into the multiverse right away after Doomsday or after Secret Wars. But considering the fact that the Council of Reeds has been talked about for a bit now, and we do have the leaked concept art for Secret Wars showing Sue and Franklin by Doom's side, I do believe they split up, and I do believe Reed is going to be outside of the world that Doom creates, because in that scenario, nobody remembers anything about any other universe or world before Battleworld. Only the two teams in the life rafts in the comics are able to basically be outside of that. And eventually the life rafts do arrive on Battleworld. And when they come in contact with Doom, they realize everything that happened and that Doom has Reed's family. And Spider-Man even mockingly makes a comment going, "We noticed you, made yourself the god of it all." We're absolutely shocked by that. But even Doctor Strange, who is his right-hand man, says that he is very good at playing God, which is why he didn't stop him. So I basically think we get this in the movie. And with the Council of Reeds, I do believe will come the Maker, an evil Reed Richards. I don't think it'll be obvious right away. I don't think he's going to wear the helmet or anything right away, or maybe he does and he pretends to be good. But ultimately, I think this comes as a surprise and ultimately introduces a new villain in the form of the Maker eventually. And I would hope and expect that if they did do the Council of Reeds, they would consist of previous actors like Johan Gruffud, Miles Teller, and hopefully John Krasinski as well. You'll have to let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. And to top off today's news, Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus also said that Daredevil Born Again Season 1 and Season 2 will both lead up to Spider-Man Brand New Day, as well as the Punisher special presentation, which makes sense because that comes before Daredevil Born Again Season 2, to our knowledge. So all of that leads into Spider-Man Brand New Day, which makes sense because if we had Spider-Man Brand New Day right now, they would almost have to address Kingpin as the mayor and everything that he's done. They'd have to address it, otherwise it would be kind of weird, because this is the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's all connected. And he's in New York and he's a masked vigilante. It sounds like that's all gonna kind of get cleared up in Daredevil Born Again Season 2, but they did just confirm a Season 3 is happening. And even though we haven't heard much about Daredevil appearing in Spider-Man, that hope is still alive, and perhaps we can finally get that Daredevil Spider-Man team up at some point in time. But in the meantime, the Punisher joined Spider-Man Brand New Day, so that's going to be awesome on its own. But go ahead, let me know your thoughts about everything in the comments down below, and please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.